And of course, this is a war that has affected a number of people and still affecting the rest of the world. But joining us to talk more about this situation, Dr. Joshua Orabiyi is executive member, NIDO Russia. He joins us from Moscow. Thank you, Doctor, for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. I want to begin from the latest on Nigerians in diaspora organization and displaced students. Have they settled in, and is NIDO still in touch with them?
Very well. We know from the last situations and matters that unfolded from 2 months ago. Right now, the period of 2 months, that many students arrived in the European environment, and then we know that the Nigerian government actually was helpful and eventful, was there to assist to evacuate a lot of students. We know also that many students stayed back in the European Union. Most of them have found their ways even from the borders of Ukraine to other parts of Europe, and a lot of them have settled down. Till now, we know that some of them may still be in detentions, but then the Nigerians in diaspora organization, especially those who are at the front line, which are Poland, Slovakia, and a couple of them, together with the missions, the Nigerian diplomatic missions, have been able to rescue most of those who were detained, and a lot of people are trying to find their feet right now, cut across Europe. Till now, from the last interview I had with the information about Russia being ready to absorb foreign students back into its educational system, we still have till today messages coming asking on how this could be done. So this to show that even some of the displaced students would still not mind to continue with education, even in the Russian Federation. So till today, this is that's the reports reaching us from all across Europe. But then so far, it's been positive. It's been positive.
That's great to hear. Another thing also is really their mental state. The event of February 24, trying to get out of the country, this is definitely something that they might still be struggling with. How is NIDO helping?
Well, NIDO has been helping with coordination of seminars, of programs. Firstly, safe landing. Most of them were really welcome, really welcome, very well. Unfortunately, we don't have such as much in Russian Federation, but mostly in the European, in the European auspices, and we keep in touch with them from under the umbrella of Nigerians in Diaspora Organization. But then Europe is being, NIDO Europe is being doing a great job assisting also the diplomatic missions. Of course, you know, we complement each other. Many of them is being helped to get jobs. Many is being placed at places, at societies where they can find some sort of support. Some families have opened their doors to some of them to stay in. You know, the Nigerian naturally is a very strong person. He has gone through several things and can still go through a lot of things. We're brought up this way. And yes, a lot of them are still in shock, but most of them have been able to get off the situation and are ready to come back to their faith. Like I said, a lot of them have had to return, are ready to return to study, and even in Russia, which shows signs of coming back to themselves.
It's really interesting. You do mention Russia. Many people wonder how Russia and its citizens are coping with what, you know, is a sort of alienation of the West, or some would call it a global pariah. Well, what would you say the feeling is on ground there, considering all that is happening with its invasion of Ukraine and what it calls a special military operation?
Just yesterday, on Saturday, rather, I had the opportunity to be hosted by one of our fathers in the academia, in the university. He's a lecturer, a senior, and he originally is from Ukraine, originally. But when the break of the Soviet Union happened, he was a student in my own university right now, and he happened to stay back in Russia and remained a Russian citizen. And his story to me was this: Joshua, I am an original Ukrainian, but then what is happening to my country at the moment is just an unfortunate situation. I hope that the Russian army can eventually save the Ukrainian soil from whatever is going on. And believe me, these were his words. Believe me, you will be alive to see this. We may not be alive to see it. But after all of this, in every Ukrainian city, there will be a monument in the name of the President Putin everywhere. Whatever is happening right now, these are just unfortunate decisions taken by the current situation, the current leadership of that nation, who actually do not care or does not care about what we have had, what our fathers had fought for, what history is, and what history is supposed to be. We are one and same people, and nothing can stop that. In fact, he went as far as saying most of the people pushing this fight at the moment are not even real Ukrainians. I am Ukrainian to the blood, and I am Russian. I am a Russian person, because the Ukrainians also have their Russianness in them. And so this is a very unfortunate situation. It affects the Russian people. At the last interview, I said that the Ukrainians and the Russians are same and one people. There is no difference between them. Whatsoever has happened in history today is a part of modern history that always tilts towards civilization, tilts towards living a simple life and forgetting your origin, your actual self. And when you do not, this is my usual quote, if you do not know where you're coming from, then there is no fact, no major fact to tell that you will get to wherever you are supposed to go to. You may eventually be living someone else's life. And this is the situation with the Russian people.
But Dr. Orabiyi, Russia went into Ukraine. Ukraine didn't go into Russia. Russia went into his brother's land, their homes, displaced them. Thousands are killed. Many thousands are displaced. So, so it's a bit baffling to sort of think about that, of their brothers and their cousins, that this is happening to them.
Yes.
I want to ask about Moscow and Russia and the things there. We know that the West has put out unprecedented sanctions on Moscow. The White House, I believe, said that the kind of sanctions is expected to wipe out the last 15 years of Russia's progress, Russia's economy. What's happening on ground where you are?
Well, firstly, I'd like to say whatever has happened again is a very unfortunate incident to the two brothers. And this was never expected. Russia, being a world power, definitely will protect its boundaries, will protect its image, its integrity. It is the balance that the rest of the world needs today. And these and many more reasons is one of the reasons, why we see what is happening currently on the Ukrainian soil. And of course, the rest of the world already understands that this is a Western game. It's a game of thrones, like I call it. It's a game of power. Unfortunately, innocent human lives are being paid for this very grievous games. Now, speaking about whatever the West says about Moscow, number one, humanity should be placed ahead of any other thing, ahead of ego, ahead of power, ahead of fame, of name, of money. But then I should say to you that the Russian Federation, under the leadership of President Putin, is being prepared also for whatsoever we see happening today. Since the year 2014, if history is being followed, we will discover that the Russian Federation also knew, or rather expected, whatsoever was happening today. And unlike we've had it before, the narratives has really changed in Moscow. The Russian people usually believed that the President Putin was just imposing himself on them. And until now, the rest of the Russian Federation understands that this is a necessity. This is something that had been planned. This is just a defense, something that had been planned for. The Western part had planned its own invasion, and this was Russia taking its first steps before it was invaded. Every other person, even the speaker before me, spoke about the expansion of NATO, and we all understand what NATO is meant for. In the year 2001, President Putin gave an interview and said, he spoke with the president of the United States in 2001 and said, why not you considering us joining NATO too? And of course, we all know the response, because NATO was basically created for the destabilization of the Soviet Union, and continued its expansion even after the Soviet Union broke. Meaning that Russia, since it's been able to stay in world power, also should not keep standing. We all know the games that happened in power. You understand that these are things these are simple power games that people who are in place will not allow other people to come close to them. It's just
Orabiyi, you haven't exactly answered the question, and this is what's happening on ground in terms of the sanctions and the economy, because you live there.
We have no challenges currently. There is no doubt that it may not. There is no doubt that we may not be seeing the effects of this on the long run, because such that the West did to Russia has never been done to any nation before. But believe me, the Russian Federation also is being prepared for this. It's been prepared. It's ready to go on the wars to keep its borders, to keep its integrity, to keep standing as a world power as it is, and it's not ready to bend. And that's why President Putin keeps coming out and is courageous to say, we will not bend. We will not bend. If you're bent on bringing us down, we are bent on standing. We're bent on keeping our Russianness.
All right. I appreciate your time. Dr. Joshua Orabiyi is Executive Member, NIDA Russia. Thank you. We'll talk to you again.
Thank you very much.